Hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Stamp It Up with Jaimie. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're catching it on YouTube, feel free to look around. Below you'll find a link to my blog as well as a link to my store. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. This is a Facebook Live that I do every week, so there will be interacting with customers and people, so a little bit of chit chat, but I hope you enjoy the video. I'm just gonna get my computer up here running. I think I'm good. Okay, so I have to say I was in Target the other day and I saw a gift bag and I was completely inspired by it, to the point where I even paused to look at it. Hi Lori, good evening. And I was with my oldest daughter and she's like, "Mommy, what are you doing?" Because I was literally just standing there looking at gift bags and we didn't need a gift bag. But I was completely inspired by it. Hi Karen. A snowy Minnesota, snowy still? Oh boy. Hi Linda, good evening. Thanks for sharing it. So today's card is really inspired by this gift bag that I saw. And it was a navy blue gift bag, and I wish I had bought it. I didn't. It was a navy blue gift bag, and then it had this kind of gold corner in it. And it was just, it really caught my eye. And I was, like I said, really inspired by it. And I thought I would try my hand at a card inspired by it. Hi Barbara from Tucson. Thank you for sharing, and I appreciate it. So hence today's card. There's nothing overly special about it, except it has this beautiful kind of embossed gold corner that's nice and shiny. It really catches the eye. And again, I'm using my favorite embossing folder. I've used it multiple times here, but I just can't get enough of it. I really, really hope it carries over into the next annual catalog, the Subtles embossing folder. And I know it's going to be hard for you to see. I'm going to try and catch the light here. Hi, Michelle. But I put the embossing folder on an angle here just to butt up right against the gold embossing. And so sort of 3/4 of the card is this very subtle, hence the name, embossed cardstock. And then the other 1/3 of it is this beautiful gold embossed. So, oh, thanks, Barbara. I appreciate it. Thanks, Christy. Oh, thanks, Amy. Thanks, everyone. Feeling the love. So I have to say that although there isn't I called it a technique. I don't know if it's a technique. I don't know. It's just making this embossed corner. I made it for this card and it worked and it was successful. And as I was preparing for cutting up everything, I was like, oh my goodness, what if it doesn't work when I do my live tutorial? It's a true, it could totally not work right now. So we're just going to try it together. And if it's successful, then great. And if not, then we'll just, put it in the, card fails. You know how they have Pinterest fails? It'll be card fails. So that's kind of the background. If you go to Target, definitely go into the gift bag section. Hi Kim. And look in the more masculine of them and see if you see the gift bag that inspired me. I don't know if they all have it. I definitely saw it at the one that I was at my local Target. And so that's kind of how this came about. My card base is Night of Navy, and then I took another panel of Night of Navy. This is, let's see here, 3 7/8 by 4.5, and then have a piece of crumb cake, which is just 1/8 of an inch bigger. What a great way for inspiration on creating a card. I'm telling you, Lisa, you can find inspiration everywhere, really, honestly, especially this time of the year with all the flowers that are starting to bloom and whatnot. But I found mine in a Target gift bag section. I don't know, it works. So we're going to start with this panel here. Let me get this guy out of the way. Okay, and so what I did is I took a pencil and I kind of marked the area that I wanted to emboss. After I did it, I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily had to do this, but I thought it would help me keep a straight line. So I just marked kind of keeping in mind 1/3, 2/3 kind of. Maybe it's ever so slightly bigger than 1/3. But 1/3, 2/3, which if you've ever taken an art class or some sort of art something or other. Photography is really big in it. Hi, Patricia. Good evening. They always talk about 1/3, 2/3. So even if you're doing like floral arrangements, everything's always in an odd number. So you put like 3 roses or 5 roses in an arrangement. So that kind of like 1/3 or odd numbers are very big in, you know, paintings, artistry, that sort of thing. Okay, so then what you're going to need is your Versamark ink pad. You are going to need, in this case, gold embossing powder, although I really did think that copper would be beautiful with this. Maybe I should, no. Maybe I should make it in copper now. I think copper would be beautiful, but we're going, no, not beautiful, handsome. It's a guy's card, handsome. But we're going to be using gold. And where is it, my embossing buddy? Is that it? Yes. Okay, so I'm on a heat tool, which I have to my right here. It's not on camera. So I'm going to kind of get everything ready. You're going to need not a lot of embossing powder, but it's not like a little sentiment. So, you know, you do need enough to be able to cover like a big size of the cardstock that you're working with. First, we're going to rub the cardstock in the embossing buddy here. I try not to do it too much because it will kind of discolor your cardstock a little bit. And then I'm taking my Versamark ink and I'm going to try and do this on camera. Although when I do it, I kind of like get low. My head's like almost parallel to my table here because I really want to make sure I get that line. Again, I marked it with a pencil. It's probably hard for you to see, but there is a pencil mark there just so I can kind of get it in a straight line. Hi, Sharon. Oh, thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. I figured when I was making the card, if I ended up not with a straight line, I could always cover it with like a piece of burlap or something that would kind of cover it. But my example actually came out pretty straight, so I didn't have to cover the border there. Okay, so what I did is, and I apologize, I gotta get low here, so my voice may get a little distant. I just butted up the edge of my Versamark ink pad up to that line. And first I just stamped it. Oh, I was gonna put scrap paper underneath and I forgot to do that. And then I kind of wiped it down. Hold on. I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper underneath or else it's going to make my grid paper all sticky. And then I just went down a little bit further, stamped, pressed really hard, and then just kind of wiped it down. Okay? And then if you felt like that line wasn't crisp enough, when I did my example, I didn't feel like it had enough ink on that line, you could just go over it again. But this looks pretty good. The thing about Versamark ink is it is super, super sticky. So it gives a nice crisp, you can really see where your line is. And then I was very, very liberal in my sprinkling of embossing powder. And I have a little bit up there, but I think I can wipe that off. Now you can see why you need a lot of embossing powder. Well, not a lot, but you need a lot more than you would use just for like a small sentiment. Oh, thanks, Sharon, I appreciate it. I got a little bit up here, so let me just wipe it away. Not that it'll matter because actually the circle will probably cover that. Okay. I like to put the lid on my embossing powder right away because I have not in the past and then turned on my heat tool and the powder goes flying everywhere. So this is fine. You don't have to like hurry and rush to heat that. Cover your embossing powder. Get it out of the way so it doesn't go flying everywhere. Next, take your heat tool and you're just going to heat it up until it goes from a powder form into a shiny, almost solid. And you should be able to see it on camera. Hopefully you get that. It's so cool. And you'll know it's done when it's nice and shiny. If it looks matte and not shiny, you didn't do it enough. But that looks good. Okay. Ta-da! You get this beautiful shine on the card. Well, cardstock. Okay, give it a second because there is, like I said, oh, it's sticky there now. There is a lot of powder on that, so it may still be a little tacky. So we're not going to... Actually, what I think I'm going to do is emboss it, take a break, let it dry a little bit, and then come back to it. Let's do our little circle here. Oh, good, Lori. Yay. That's going to dry. Am I like blinding you every time I do that? It's like getting a nice glow off of it. Okay, I'm going to set that aside so it's really dry. There's really no rush. We can come back to it. I used the layering circles framelits, and I pulled out, this is like 2.5 inches wide. And then I'm going to use the waterfront stamp set. I think this is a great stamp set for masculine cards. You could just make a variety of kind of nature scenes, whether it's a beach scene with these fun palm trees, or mountains with a like lake and some trees, even a sun. This has been around for a little bit, but honestly, it is so versatile, and I think it's definitely a go-to when it comes to masculine cards. I'm going to be stamping the little mountains in the background, oops, in soft suede ink. And then the trees, don't laugh, no, don't laugh. The trees I'm going to stamp in Night of Navy. I like to keep within my color schemes, and I already had like soft suede, crumb cake, and Night of Navy. I usually don't put more than 3 colors on a card, so I was like, maybe somewhere in the world there's blue trees. It's your favorite too, Amy? It's so versatile. I just love it. Maybe somewhere there's got to be blue trees somewhere out there. Oh boy. I was tempted to do it in Tranquil Tide. It would have looked great too, but I don't know. I went with the blue of the card, kept with the blue. Okay, so this is the mountain one. Let's see here. This guy here. I'm going to ink it up, stamp it down, and then stamp it again without re-inking it. That's called stamping off. So, can you see? Okay. This guy's going to go like, again, I'm kind of doing 1/3, 2/3 again. Oh, thanks, Michelle. I'm glad you enjoy it. There. And then this guy's going to go kind of next to him, kind of a shadow. He's definitely more in the foregrounds. Why do I feel like I didn't do it that, well, I guess it's fading a little bit. It looks darker. Doesn't it look darker? I thought I did it in soft suede. Maybe I did it in crumb cake. No, that's soft suede. Has to be. Now I'm second guessing myself. We'll call them trees at dusk. Then they can be blue. In my world, there's blue trees, okay? It's just, that's the thing about stamping. You can have like, I don't know, purple clouds and blue trees. I mean, anything goes. Okay, now we're going to take our trees, and I'm going to stamp them in my Night of Navy ink and kind of have them going off the card a little bit, ever so slightly below my mountain line there. Not mountain lion, mountain line. Like that. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm taking my sentiment from the Itty Bitty Birthdays. Oh, this is so fun for birthday cards. They have just kind of, oh, blue spruce. There you go, Karen. Oh, Lisa was thinking the same thing. See, guys, you have my back. You can color your own world any way you choose. Exactly, Linda. No one's going to tell me otherwise. Blue trees it is. So the Itty Bitty Birthdays is a really fun one. It has like your straight up like happy birthday sentiments. That's the one we're using tonight, and like birthday wishes. But it also has some kind of like fun things. At least you'll always be younger than me. You're not old, you're just older. So kind of like streamlined, very like not conservative, but you know, your traditional birthday sentiments. Happy day, so exciting. But then also some kind of like fun ones. You're growing up. So, can't believe you're another year older. Just, I don't know, fun, really fun ones. But we're going to just use the straight up happy birthday one. Oh, thanks, Chris. You love the gold. I know, but I was so tempted to try it in copper. I kind of like want to be done and like do it again and see how the copper would look. I had that thought. Okay, so we're going to heat emboss again. So I need all my stuff back. They're a blue spruce. Exactly, Patricia. I didn't even think of that. You guys definitely know your nature more than I do. I do not. I do not. Okay, so take your heat embossing buddy. You're going to go over your space. This one I can be a little bit more generous with because it's crumb cake. It's not going to discolor it so much. You really see it like when you do your dark blues like Night of Navy or black. You see it. It discolors it a little bit. Versamark ink and my sentiment. So ink him up. I gotta pull him closer to me so I can actually see. And I want it kind of just below my mountains and my tree. It almost overlaps the tree trunks a little bit. Come here, come here, come here. And we're gonna sprinkle, sprinkle. Again, cover your embossing powder or else you risk have it go flying everywhere. I know this from experience. And then we're gonna heat them. Again, until he goes from a powder. There we go. Oh, so fun to see. Never gets old. Okay. Whoops. And then our sentiment, our sentiment is done. I'm going to set him aside for a second and I'm going to go back. So this is our card that we're working with. We already embossed the bottom of the cardstock. Now we're going to, this is like double embossing. So we heat embossed the bottom and then now we're going to use an embossing folder to get texture into the top. I know the name, but could not pick it out of a picture. There you go. I know. I wonder what a blue spruce, is it actually blue? I don't even know. That's bad. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. You know what? I'm going to get done. I'm going to have to Google it because now I'm really intrigued. Okay. So I've used it so many times. You guys are familiar with this embossing folder with me. The subtle embossing folder, I just love it. I really hope it carries over. It's just such nice texture. Again, it's kind of like a go-to for masculine cards for me. So I'm going to follow this line here that I already have, and I'm going to, this is where it gets a little tricky. So let me kind of walk you through what I discovered and what I found out. They're a little bit of blue-green. Oh, okay. Interesting. So I put it right up next to my embossed line. You can kind of see through the folder to make sure you're up against it. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. In order to run it through my Big Shot, I had to make sure it fit because this was a 6x6 folder. I had to make sure nothing was overhanging. That's kind of why the size I came up with, because I started off with it a little bit longer and it kind of came out this way a little bit and didn't fit through my fit through the Big Shot. So I had to give him a little bit of a haircut and make sure he fit. So let's crank this guy through. I apologize if it's moving the camera around. We don't need that. Here's our folder. Oh, this thing is so heavy. Okay. Let me take him out. Again, it's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see on camera, but let me see if I can catch the lighting. There's just an ever so slight texture there. It really is just, again, subtle. I guess that's why they named it the way they named it, because it perfectly describes it. And I'm going to map this. Oops. Actually, hold on here. I think I'm going to use a little bit of tear and tape because it has that embossed piece on it. Anytime I adhere down any sort of embossed image, oh, you can see it good, Linda. I like to use tear and tape and regular adhesive. I don't have to like load it up with the tear and tape, but I do like to add a little bit because it has a hard time really making contact. Oh, yay, Michelle. I'm glad you like it. This was so fun to make, and it came together really quickly. Honestly, this is a kind of card that you could probably make multiples of at once, kind of like mass produce it. And I really think it has kind of like a wow factor to it. The gold, the shimmer that it gives. It really is like striking. I'm telling you, that gift bag caught my eye. I mean, I was just walking down the aisle in Target and I was like, ooh. So it definitely is like eye-catching. And now this tear and tape doesn't want to come off. There we go. Come on, this guy too. Come on, there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to add some other adhesive because, why not? I don't know. Just because I feel like it. And again, my crumb cake here is just like 1/8 of a size bigger than why do I feel like that's cutting it close? It is 1/8 of inch bigger than my Night of Navy. Ooh, that's a tight squeeze. Why is that so tight? It's a tight squeeze. I must not have cut that perfectly. Anytime you want to like smooth it down, just flip over your cardstock and you don't have to worry about smudging any anything on the other side. Oh, thanks, Trudy. I'm glad you like the colors. Okay, so let's get our example out here. So normally on like masculine card, we don't do bows, but I don't know. Oh, well, it's pretty masculine, and I'm using twine, and this is a button from the True Gentleman Buttons. Like it's all masculine. It's okay if there's a bow on there. The guys, whoever gets this is just going to have to deal. I tried doing a knot and I didn't like it because it just didn't fill the button enough. And okay, so here's the true story. Initially, I was just going to put the circle and like leave it. But I actually, underneath the button, I have a little smudge. I must have nicked it with the Versamark, so there's like a dark little spot, so I had to cover it. So hence the button. But the button was kind of an afterthought, and it wasn't really in my initial plans. What's that? There's like a meme out there, like a mistake is only an opportunity for an embellishment or something like that. It's funny. Oh, wait, I don't think I wrapped it around 3 times, but I think I need more twine. Let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, and then cut it, leaving enough for, look how much I love this stuff. I'm almost out. I've probably ordered, I don't know how many things of linen twine over the years. Oh my goodness, I love that stuff. There you go. There are no mistakes, only opportunities for embellishments. That's it. Okay, so I took my button and I went in one of the holes, and then I went in the other diagonal hole. It's like threading. I can't see. And then I just tied a knot. First I tied a knot so it would be nice and tight. Now if it's not tight, so let's say it's loosey-goose. Actually, I can tighten it. If it is tight, what I do with my bows and my ribbons and stuff, if it's not tight, just come behind it, put a little bit of adhesive and kind of squinch them together to tighten it. Does that make sense? Sometimes it's hard to, you almost need like another set of hands and you don't always have it. So, that's what I do. And there we go. And the other thing another trick that I do, first your ears are like super long, and sometimes when you start to pull them, they twist. So to keep them from twisting, but make them smaller, I just apply pressure on the knot in the center as I pull the tails out, and it keeps the ears from twisting. I think I want that a little bit to the left. There we go. And normally, because I like really long tails to my bows, I would leave it really long like that. But it's a masculine card, so we should probably give them a haircut. I really do like long tails, though, on my bows. And I thought, we should probably make it a small bow and not anything like too big or fancy, because I'm pushing it. I know I'm pushing it, putting a bow on a masculine card. Okay. Then we're going to adhere my circle here with Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's see, I usually do like on a circle like 3. Peel them off. And line it up against my grid paper so I can attempt to get to this straight-ish. Like, how about there? And then I have my card base, which is another piece of Night of Navy cardstock. Easy peasy. And that's just going to, I gotta trim that a little bit. It's flopping in the wind. There we go. Although it's still, actually, you know what I did? I'm forgetting. I took a glue dot to get that thing, the button to stay down. I forgot I did that. Oops. They tie their shoe into bows? Oh, men do. I was like, they what? Yes, that's very true, Karen. They do. You're absolutely right. And I mean, it's a masculine bow. It's not like I used, petal pink or anything. I have a glue dot here. I'm just going to tuck underneath my bow because it doesn't want to kind of like shift all around. And I really want it to like stay. Did I use dimensionals? I did use dimensionals. I went again a little dimensional crazy on this card. I do love dimensionals. It's one of those things that I use all the time. That and my subtle embossing folder. I can't help myself. Okay, almost done. Oops, oops. Now, if you've been watching and you haven't left some sort of a comment and you would like the chance to earn, to receive tonight's card, just drop me like a hello. You don't even have to comment on the card. You can even just put an emoji down. And at the very end, as soon as I hit finish, I'm going to put all the names in a hat and draw one for someone to receive tonight's card. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? So fun. Like I said, I think you could easily use like copper embossing powder. I think you could make this feminine and use more like silver colors and more feminine colors. So it's just really fun and really easy, honest to goodness. I even thought that maybe using like a different embossing folder, I probably would have if I had, you know, if I was making a more feminine card or something like that. But okay, ladies, that's my card for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun. If you have any questions about any of the product I've used, shoot me an email or get a hold of me somehow, some way. And I will see you next week at the same time. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.